A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome and thank you very much for joining us again here this time on Sunday for the finals, round one of the SMRC eSports Racing Spring Championship. We have got a cracking night in store for you across PlayStation 4, Xbox One and PC. A full week's worth of racing with over 130 plus players taking part. All leads up to this. Kicking things off tonight, we are going to have the PlayStation 4 finals, which our qualifying is underway just now. We'll join on them in just a second. Roughly about 7 PM, we'll have the Xbox One finals, and then at 8 PM tonight, we will have the PC finals as well. So that is what we have got in store for you. Let's head to the track, as we've got qualifying already underway then. So, on track at the moment then, we have got the PlayStation 4. I've got another actual slide that I can show you just now. It shows us all of the runners and riders tonight. So PlayStation 4, this is for the finals, race number 1. Mark Geraghty, aka Geraghty67, Brian Hamilton, BJ Hooligan, Callum Henning is Cake Na 17, Elliot Lethway is Luty 11. We've got Mr. McCracken in there as well. James McCracken is PCR James A 77. Daryl McDonald is Wee Daz 34. Sam McKenzie is Mackenzie 55. Malcolm McNabb is Malk M61. Aidan Sloss is Aidan Sloss 39. And Michael Weddle is Mick ZW. So, without further ado, let's head back to the track because, as I said, the first qualifying session of the evening is already underway. We're not messing about here at all. And just watching the cars making their way around just now. Looks like Aidan Sloss is the man on the move at the moment. 54.946 is the fastest time that he has at the moment. Second place looks to be, that's Michael Weddle up there, 54.995, just 0.05 of a second. So as we said, these guys will be doing qualifying and then straight into a 12-lap race. And I've also just realised that you can't actually hear anything because I didn't have the stream audio unmuted. There we go, that's better. Sorry about that. It's been a long week, guys. What can I say? So, we've had about 140 cars and 140 drivers taking part this week, all whittling down to 30 drivers taking part over 3 sessions. Next week at Oulton Park, we are going to have 225 drivers we've got capacity for at Oulton Park with the Renault Clio Cup. The Xbox One is already full. PlayStation 4 looks like it's going to be on the way there, and then it is also going to be very, very busy with the PCs. But qualifying is done and dusted. Aidan Sloss takes pole position for race 1 of the evening from, and is that James... No, that's Sam McKenzie actually. Sam McKenzie sneaking in there with a 54.919. Michael Weddle in third place as well. This is a very, very fast opening race already. So, PCR James A is in 4th place. That's James McCracken. Elliot Lethway in 5th. That's Brian Hamilton in 6th place. And then in 7th place is Daryl McDonald. 8th place is... let me see here, Callum Henning. Sorry, I had to go and work that out. Mark Geraghty in 9th place, and then Malcolm McNabb in 10th. 10 cars on the grid then, ladies and gentlemen. We are getting ready to go green here at Knockhill. The cars are ready, the drivers are ready. Race 1 of the finals of the SMRC eSports Racing Spring Championship are underway, and it is a fantastic start for Sam on row number 2, who jumps straight into the lead. Sam McKenzie then into the lead by the time that they get down to Duffus Step for the first time of asking from Aidan Sloss. So we've got a car going flying off into the barrier at the bottom of Duffus Step there, and that is going to be Brian Hamilton, who has had the worst possible start who goes flying off. Meanwhile, we have got a wonderful 6-car train going on for the lead here. They come round the corner at Clark's, and your race leader goes very, very wide, and Sam Mackenzie drops down into second place. That leaves Aidan Sloss to jump up into first place then. He makes his way down into the hairpin, and they are going to rack up lap 1 already. And look at Sam Mackenzie, because he's lost all that momentum. He has got 6 cars that are looking to get through. Sam Mackenzie's start was too good to be true. He's had a jump start penalty and has to go through the pits to complete that. Disaster, absolute disaster for Sam Mackenzie. It was all looking so good. That allows Aidan Sloss to get a little bit of a gap going on then. 1.5 seconds in front of Michael Weddle. Michael Weddle is absolutely no stranger to the track here at Knockhill. As we see further behind him, Elliot Lethwaite gently and politely being shown onto the gravel trap there, and that's such a shame. Elliot was so strong earlier on in the week there, coming second in heat number 2 last week. Meanwhile, back towards the hairpin there, and that is a late lunge into the hairpin there for Wee Daz 34. That is Daryl McDonald that is fighting for third place alongside PCR Jamesy. That is James McCracken. That is a brilliant little battle that they've got going on there down in towards Duffus, and they're nose to tail as we've got tyre smoke. I think that was Callum Henning who got it all sorts of wrong there coming down Duffus. That allows Mark Geraghty to go through and jump up into 5th place then. And look at Aidan Sloss. Aidan Sloss has absolutely decided to check out. 54.344, 0.6 of a second faster than his qualifying effort there. And that has allowed him to get a 4.8 second lead already, and we are only on lap 4. Stunning stuff, but it's all about this battle for second place right now between Michael Weddle, Wee Daz 34, which is Daryl McDonald, and then in 4th place it's James McCracken as well. This is what I like about this final. The cars haven't dropped off as much as I thought they had. We'll ignore Aidan Sloss for just now because he's absolutely lit the touch paper in a way. And who was that behind? That was Mark Geraghty getting it all wrong at Duffus. He should know better. He is an absolute stalwart at this track. But meanwhile, he lives to tell the tale another day. Slips in behind Callum Henning for that battle for 5th place. And meanwhile, one man on a mission is Callum Henning, who moves up into 4th place because I think Michael Weddle just got a slow down penalty there. He certainly did, and I think Callum Henning then got a slow down penalty at Clark's as well. So it's going to be Michael Weddle up the inside in towards the hairpin. He's always going to take that place, and Michael Weddle goes back into 4th place, but he was much further up the grid there. And that's a brilliant battle we've got going on for 6th, 7th and 8th as well. But Aidan Sloss though, 6 seconds in the lead already, 54.712. He is a second faster every single lap on average. Just fantastic pace being shown here at such an early stage from Aidan Sloss. So we're back with your battle for second place, and at the moment then it's between Daryl McDonald and James McCracken. James McCracken just slipping about a second now away from that second spot. And these are all for points now, whereas in the qualifying races midweek it was for those top 2 positions. These are now 4 points, so you want to make sure you finish up as high as you possibly can right now, and it's a fairly even spread throughout the rest of the track just now. We've got a couple of battles going on further down the field as we see Elliot Lethwaite, who was very strong earlier on during the week, had that spin at the exit of the chicane on lap 2, and that really put him quite far down the order. He's about 5 seconds behind everyone else, but he is going to be one to watch because his pace is on par with the leader. And who's that? That is Sam Mackenzie, who was doing excellent during the early stages of the race, drops back a little bit more and gets forced a little bit wide on the exit of the chicane. And an even better battle behind them with Mark Geraghty and Brian Hamilton. This is for 8th and 9th place, but these two are just knocking lumps out of these Formula Rookie cars. And Mark Geraghty moves aside because he's got a slow down penalty after going very, very wide at Clark's there. We'll move back up with your battle for 5th place. Sam Mackenzie versus Elliot Lethwaite. Elliot Lethwaite's got an excellent tow coming up the start-finish straight here. And they are nose to tip as they go across the line for the 7th lap here at Knockhill, race number 1 of your finals tonight. This is the PlayStation 4. Elliot Lethwaite just stalking Sam Mackenzie right now, following every single move that he does. As your battle for 2nd and 3rd place is really starting to get quite interesting now as well. They are 8 seconds behind your leader, Aidan Sloss. Aidan Sloss right now is in another time zone. Absolutely faultless, 54.5. I think every single lap that Aidan has done has been under the 54s, but there we go, change for 2nd place. Not quite, as Darrell McDonald moves up into 2nd place, but James McCracken is going to do all that he can to try and get that 2nd place back. But just behind them there's a fascinating battle brewing up as well between Callum Henning, Sam Mackenzie and Elliot Lethwaite as well, because Callum Henning has now been caught by the 2 behind him, and they are really putting in some very, very fast lap times. I do wonder what Sam Mackenzie and Elliot Lethwaite could have done had they got a little bit further up the field there. And we've got some sort of drama kicking off, because that is Brian Hamilton and Michael Weddle, one of your favourites rounds here at Knockhill, out into 9th place, and has been, I think he must have been in some sort of contact there with Brian Hamilton. We didn't see exactly what happened there, but we sure as heck saw the aftermath here. And wow, what has happened with the battle for 2nd place, because it's now almost a 4-car battle. There's 3 of them there, and Callum Henning is going to get there. There's contact between the 2 of them, and that is going to take Darrell McDonald out, and it's also going to take, was that Callum Henning? No, Callum Henning went through. That was James McCracken. So Darrell McDonald, James McCracken having contact down the bottom of Duffus, both cars going sliding out, and that takes them down into 5th and 6th place respectively. And that was a needless move from the 2 of them there. You know, the whole point of this is to get as many points as you possibly can, and that leaves Sam Mackenzie up into 2nd place here. But also, what has happened to your race leader? Because that gap was 8 seconds. And the gap is now down to 2.4. So that last lap round there for Aidan Sloss with a 57.847. Sam Mackenzie in 2nd place. 55.291. So back with the action then, Aidan Sloss now. The gap is now down to 1.5 seconds. And this is very, very unusual here, because we can see Aidan Sloss slowing down on the exit of Duffus is now 0.7 of a second. And Sam Mackenzie is well within reach of making a move here. Aidan Sloss loses the lead. Oh, there's contact between Aidan Sloss and Sam Mackenzie here. And the 2 of them are absolutely duking out here. Lap 10 out of 12. What has happened to Aidan Sloss? I wonder if there's been a significant slowdown penalty given to Aidan Sloss. So he loses the lead with 2 laps left to go. Meanwhile, Sam Mackenzie says thank you very much and heads off into the sunset. Aidan Sloss has definitely got the pace to catch him back up though. He was doing 54s that about 9 out of the 12 laps here, but Aidan Sloss is very much struggling right now. I wonder if there's no, there can't be, because there's only visual damage on these cars right now. So very, very unusual turn of events here for Aidan Sloss, and that is going to mean Callum Henning is eyeing up a 2nd place as well. At the moment your podium is Sam Mackenzie, Aidan Sloss and Callum Henning. Further back then is Elliot Lethwaite, who's managed to get a bit of clear air. He is up into 4th place, but look at the battle again between Darryl McDonald and James McCracken. They have been going toe-to-toe all race long, and Darryl McDonald is going to try and slip into the slipstream of James McCracken there. James McCracken up in 5th place and Darryl McDonald down in 6th place. Behind them is Mark Geraghty and Brian Hamilton. We saw them involved in a bit of a fracas earlier on as well, along with Michael Weddle, who is trying to make his way back up as well. Aidan Slosson 1.5 seconds behind your race leader, an unlikely race leader, you've got to say. Sam Mackenzie did not see this one coming at all. Comes round the hairpin then for the final time in race 1 for the SMRC eSports Racing Spring Championship Finals for the PlayStation 4 is going to go to Sam Mackenzie, who destroys every single cone in sight. Great win there for Sam Mackenzie. Aidan Sloss in 2nd place. It's going to be 3rd place there for Callum Henning. Elliot Lethwaite in 4th place. And then in 5th place, James McCracken. 6th place is going to be Darryl McDonald. 7th place, Mark Geraghty. Brian Hamilton in 8th place. Michael Weddle in 9th. And then at 10th, all the way at the back there, is Malcolm McNabb. We'll take a very quick break while the cars make their way around. We'll pop the points in, and hopefully Michael Weddle is going to make his way across the line, and we'll work out some points. You're going to like this one, guys and girls. You're going to like this one. Right, we've got some points in then for the first rounds of the final here for PlayStation 4. And it looks like this then. Sam Mackenzie currently topping the scores with 25 points. Aidan Sloss in 2nd place with 20. Callum Henning in 3rd place with 16 points. Elliot Lethwaite with 14. James McCracken with 12. Darryl McDonald with 10, Mark Geraghty with 9, Brian Hamilton with 8, Michael Weddle with 7, and Malcolm McNabb with 6 points. That is how the scores look just now. And we will take a couple of minutes break, and when we return we will have qualifying for race number 2 of the PlayStation Finals.
Took a swing at a wrecking ball and I prayed for my downfall, and I found a way to reconcile, 'cause in my heart it's not worthwhile. It's a bloody battlefield where some go down, others heal. In the end it's all the same. All you can do is play the game. Oh, do we say goodbye? Refuse to question why. I'm sad to say I'm sorry, so lie. Pretend that you're okay. Swear that you will stay. Keep trying for one day. I'm sick of all these lies. Don't care if I capsize. There's nothing left for me to hide. Don't wanna live a lie. Too many lows, too many highs. Too many things to criticize. And so I leave it all behind. Don't wanna live a lie.
You've got to love technical issues, don't you? Right, so pretty much everything that could have went wrong there did go wrong there. You saw the holding cards kind of went berserk. The music has decided it doesn't want to play. But the racing still goes on, ladies and gentlemen. Qualifying is back underway for race number 2. And you can see the cars out on track at the moment. So we can pause the music and get back to the action out on track. So Sam Mackenzie then taking the win from Aidan Sloss on that first race. Callum Henning in 3rd place, Elliot Lethwaite in 4th, James McCracken in 5th, Dylan McDonald in 6th, Mark Gerrity in 7th, Brian Hamilton in 8th place, Michael Weddle in 9th, and then Malcolm McNabb in 10th. That is how they ended up on that last race there. Sam Mackenzie, like we say, a very, very unlikely win there. I have no idea what happened to Aidan Sloss there. He was a good 8 seconds up the road and lost all of that gap, all of that momentum, and I can assure you there is no damage able to happen to these cars. It is set to visual damage only tonight. So we are on race number 2 for the qualifying. So we'll reflect that in the overlay and the graphics. Let's get back down to business here for qualifying. 3 minutes remain here at the virtual recreation of Knockhill. And it's currently Michael Weddle who is the man to catch up with after really, really a disappointing effort that last time round. So 2.5 minutes then, and at the top, Elliot Lethwaite, 55.386. We know the cars can go much, much faster than this, so give it a lap or two and let them find a little bit of space. We'll see the times start to come down quite rapidly. James McCracken in 2nd place there, 55.992. And then I think that is Darryl McDonald in 3rd place. Yep, Daz 34. So a reminder very quickly, ladies and gentlemen, of the game tags as you will see them displayed in game. These are the drivers: Mark Gerrity, Brian Hamilton, Callum Henning, Elliot Lethwaite, James McCracken, Darryl McDonald, Sam Mackenzie, Malcolm McNabb, Aidan Sloss and Michael Weddle. Those are the drivers and those are the gamer tags. So you're going to want to have a look for those when you are watching the race, just like I do. 1.5 minutes left to go in qualifying for race number 2, and we were trying to think about how we were going to do the grid for race 2, because we could have done it at random and we had a lot of things kind of going for that, but I think the fairest decision was to do a second very, very quick qualifying run. Who on earth is that doing a little bit of grass cutting there? It is James McCracken. Of course it's James McCracken. Right, Aidan Sloss showing how it's done, 54.936, and somebody just went very, very, very wrong at the exit of the hairpin there, and I cannot for the life of me see who that was. Anyway, 50 seconds left to go in the session. Aidan Sloss still down in the lead there, 54.625, improves on his last lap time. Thank you very much for everyone who is watching on Facebook, which appears to be going a little bit better. We were having some problems with it earlier. A very good evening to David Gain, to Craig McAllister, to Micro Machines Racing, David Taylor Piggott. We've got Craig Blake, Glenn Mole, Santi Alcock, Craig Lax. In fact, thank you, Craig, because I always did struggle with what that triangle meant. You just pointed out, the triangle is when cars are close together so that we can keep an eye on them, and the driver name actually goes red when they get a penalty as well. So good evening to everyone that is in the video chat just now. Hope you're all enjoying, but there we go, qualifying is complete for race number 2 of the PlayStation Finals. Aidan Sloss not able to improve on that 54.625. Sam McKenzie sneaks up into second place, 55.002. Elliot Lethwaite in third place with a 55.150, and then it is Michael Waddell in fourth place with a 55.158. Darryl McDonald in fifth place with a 55.2, and wow, 1,000th of a second separating Brian Hamilton and Michael Waddell. In 7th place there is Callum Henning, 8th place is going to be James McCracken, 9th place is going to be Mark Geraghty, and then Malcolm McNabb down in 10th place. So here we go then, ladies and gentlemen, this is your final race for the PlayStation 4s this evening here at Knockhill. 1 second separates 8 cars. This is going to be a fantastic, fantastic race. We've got the 10 cars on the grid. Aidan Sloss on pole position from Sam McKenzie, Elliot Lethwaite in third place, and then Michael Weddle in fourth. The lights are coming on the bridge, they're away! And a fantastic start for Aidan Sloss. No such issue this time for Sam McKenzie, who got a great start last time round and then had to go into pit lane. Looks like Michael Waddell jumps into third place. Aidan Sloss going there. And who is that at the top there? I think it is Darryl McDonald being shown the door at the entry to McIntyre's there. Not really what you want to have done at the start there, as we see Michael Weddle going a little bit wide there, and Elliot Lethwaite getting it all wrong on the exit of the chicane, goes onto the grass and really struggles to get any sort of traction with the car. That drops him down into 7th place. We've got 5 cars connected just now for the lead. Aidan Sloss currently leading them round. Sam McKenzie in second place. Michael Weddle moves up into third, and then Brian Hamilton is up into 4th place as well. James McCracken leads the last of the cars, and who is that around at the hairpin? That is Malcolm McNabb losing out to Darryl McDonald. Callum Henning, who had a brilliant first race there, all the way down into 9th place. Aidan Sloss not able to stretch away as much as he would have liked, or certainly as much as he did in the first race. He's only half a second ahead of Sam McKenzie. And the car's making their way round Clark's there, and that's surely going to be a slow down penalty for Michael Weddle there. It was very, very wide across the gravel at the exit of Clark's. And have a look to back there, that is Brian Hamilton being put under all sorts of pressure by James McCracken. 0.7 of a second separating those two at the moment, but back with your leader. Sam McKenzie is hunting down Aidan Sloss. That gap now just half a second, and by this point, by lap 3, Aidan Sloss was already 5 seconds up the road, 5 seconds clear of all the other cars. So I'm not sure he's quite used to this sort of intense pressure right now, but he's certainly got the pace. 53.996 for Aidan Sloss, matched by Sam McKenzie, 54.067, and Michael Weddle trying to hold on at the background there, as we see Brian Hamilton going very wide at the hairpin, at the chicane. And James McCracken is looking to make moves on him if he possibly can. As we see Sam McKenzie falling further and further back now. Aidan Sloss getting a nice little bit of a gap there. And Michael Weddle right on his tail. Possibly going to get some draft here as we see Brian Hamilton and James McCracken in battle as well. This is a much tamer second race than we saw in the first race for the PlayStation 4 finals. It's a little bit more muted, because have a look at that. Sam McKenzie under all sorts of pressure right now, and he's dropping further and further back from Aidan Sloss, and this is going to be Michael Weddle's move to make here. Let's have a little look on board with Michael Weddle. Makes a move up the inside of Clarkson, makes it stick. Brilliant move there from Michael Weddle. Moves up into second place and actually had the second fastest lap that time round there. Beautiful move there from Michael Weddle, and he is going to try and keep that position in second place. Nice exit from the hairpin, and he made that look so easy. Further behind then it is Sam McKenzie in third place. Fourth place is Brian Hamilton. Fifth place is James McCracken, and then Elliot Lethway on his own down there in sixth, with Darryl McDonald in seventh. And then it's Callum Henning, who's been put under all sorts of pressure right now from Malcolm McNabb, with Mark Geraghty at the back of the grid there as well. Malcolm McNabb side by side with Callum Henning, forces him as much as he possibly can, tries to take the inside line. Callum Henning moves and there's contact. Callum Henning tried to keep too much power at the top of the hill there. Oh my goodness me. Thank goodness it's only visual damage. Malcolm McNabb and Mark Geraghty, no strangers on the track, and I'm sure they're going to be having a couple of words, politely of course, with each other after the race. And what has happened to Callum Henning? Callum Henning going very wide there at the exit of the chicane, so that puts paid to his race. Meanwhile, back up at the business end of the race here, lap 6 out of 12 here in race number 2 for the round 1 finals of the PlayStation 4. And that is a bit of bodywork being sent flying up into the air there by Michael Weddle. He is hunting down your leader Aidan Sloss. This is going to be a very interesting little chess battle going on, because Aidan Sloss now starting to be reeled in by Michael Weddle. He was 2/10 faster that last lap round. Sam McKenzie has absolutely no answer to them, as Brian Hamilton is... I was trying to think of a polite word to describe the charge that Brian Hamilton has right now, and I'm coming up very short, because he is one of the few men, along with Elliot Lethway, in the 54 club right now. Aidan Sloss doing a 55.5 and Michael Weddle doing a 54.2. That is a second and a half of difference, half a second in now between Michael Weddle and Aidan Sloss. This is shaping up to be very nice. Let's go on board with Michael Weddle. And there he is, hunting down your leader on lap 7. So much smoother through Clark's there, and he's surely got the toe now as they come along the back straight here. Michael Weddle doesn't stick his nose out, doesn't say hello just yet. Gets a very nice exit out of the hairpin. You can see the amount of time that he takes off of that hairpin there. That's a good 1/10 to 2/10 of a second that he has on Aidan Sloss. Tucks into the slipstream again, goes onto the Beatsonsville and Supply Bridge, and we are on to lap number 8 then. This is your battle for the leads. And again, Sam McKenzie now just being forced to watch from the sidelines, but it was around about lap 10 where we saw it all go wrong for Aidan Sloss. So you've got to wonder, can he deal with this pressure? He's doing remarkably well right now to deal with all of the pressure that Michael Weddle is putting on him. And Michael Weddle right now putting it on it with pretty much a ladle He's pouring that pressure on. He makes a little jink to the inside just to play some head games with Aidan Sloss, potentially mess up his breaking point there, but no such luck. We're going to go into lap number 9, and that gap is actually extending a little bit there. It's up to 0.4 of a second, but still within tow range right now. Cracking battle going on further back as well between James McCracken and Elliot Lethwaite right now. They've just started to stretch out a little bit as they come out of the hairpin, but they were nose to tail as they went through the back half of the circuit here. Michael Weatherlow bringing that gap down to your leader, just under 0.4 of a second. Gets a great run out of the chicane there. They are glued to each other's gearbox right now. And this is shaping up to potentially be a last lap dash for the cash for these two. Great move out of the hairpin there for Michael Weddle. The gap now just 1/10 of a second. Michael Weddle moves to the inside. He's squeezed out by Aidan Sloss. Aidan Sloss pushes him onto the grass. That was very, very naughty from Aidan Sloss, and Michael Weddle is not going to like that one at all. There will be repercussions. And Michael Weddle just biding his time. He's just holding back here, waiting for Aidan Sloss to make a mistake, because we're on lap 10 here. We know that there's still 2 laps left to go in this final race today. And there we go, Michael Weddle makes a move up the inside of Clark's. Aidan Sloss can't make it work. There's contact between the two of them. They're still side by side, and they both go off. Aidan Sloss forces Michael Weddle to get into the gravel there, but Michael Weddle recovers and still holds on to the lead. Sam Mackenzie again from absolutely nowhere, manages to take the lead. But Michael Weddle is within a second. And that was some very, very questionable manoeuvres there from the pair of them. Neither one of them wanted to let go of that position. And given the earlier action we saw from Aidan Sloss there, the very, very aggressive defence there, I think there's going to be some words in the virtual Steve Burns office. But it's all coming down to this penultimate lap now. Sam Mackenzie again is on track to win his second race of the night, giving him a perfect 2 out of 2 here. Michael Weddle is having absolutely none of it. He is going to try his very, very best to make amends for a terrible finish in race 1 where he finished on 9th place. Second place is better than last though, Michael. He's going to have to keep the sane head on right now. As we see Sam Mackenzie exit the hairpin for the second to last time. We've got a brilliant battle going on behind here for 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th now between Brian Hamilton, James McCracken, Elliot Lethwaite and Aidan Sloss. Aidan Sloss having to dip into the back there. He's going to come side by side with Elliot Lethwaite there. Elliot Lethwaite does the right thing and lets him move aside, but there's contact again, and there goes Aidan Sloss yet again. Contact with Elliot Lethwaite and goes flying off into the barrier at the end of Duffus. You hate to see it, but I'm afraid that Aidan Sloss at the moment is Aidan Sloss's own enemy. With your leader then and second place there as they come in towards the hairpin for the final time. The unlikely has happened again. He was sitting there minding his own business in second and third place all race long. The battle between Aidan Sloss and Michael Weddle was big, it was huge, and it cost Michael Weddle and Aidan Sloss the lead. But a brilliant, brilliant win there for, let's have a look, Sam Mackenzie. In fact, the reason I had to pause there is because you can see there the results have changed. Sam Mackenzie had a time penalty, a 1 second time penalty, and that means that Michael Weddle has won the race. Michael Weddle, after all that, justice has been served. Michael Weddle wins the race from Sam Mackenzie, James McCracken in 3rd place, Brian Hamilton in 4th, Aidan Sloss in 5th place, and then in 6th place is Daryl McDonald. 8th place is Mark Geraghty, Malcolm McNabb in 9th place, and then in 10th place is Elliot Lethwaite. Some big penalties coming in there. Elliot Lethwaite getting a 30-second penalty. That sounds like a jump start to me. Malcolm McNabb getting a 2-second penalty. And Brian Hamilton getting a 2-second penalty as well. But Sam McKenzie, it was a case of what could have been. He was looking so lucky there, but ends up losing out because of that 1 second time penalty. We'll be back in just a minute with the points update, and then in 10 minutes time, ladies and gentlemen, we move on to the Xbox. But there's your 1, 2, 3 from race 2 at the PlayStation 4s. Michael Weddle from Sam McKenzie, and then it is James McCracken.
I'm the one to blame. All I can do is take the shame. Oh, do we say goodbye? Refuse to question why. I'm too sad to say I'm sorry. So lie and pretend that you're okay. Swear that you will stay. Keep trying for one day. Whoa, I'm sick of all these lies. Don't care if I capsize. There's nothing left for me to hide. Don't wanna live a lie. Too many lows, too many highs. Too many things to criticize. So I leave it all behind. Don't wanna live a lie. Sick of all these lies. Don't care if I capsize. Oh no.
So there we are then. There is your current standings for PlayStation 4 after 2 out of 2 races. Sam McKenzie still in the lead of the championship then from Aidan Sloss in second place. Joint second place with Michael Weddle. Fourth place is going to be James McCracken, 28 points. Callum Henning with 25 points in fifth place. Brian Hamilton in sixth place with 22 points. And then in seventh place, joint seventh place, Elliot Lethwaite and Darryl McDonald on 20. Ninth place for Mark Geraghty with 17 points. And then Malcolm McNabb on 13 points. So, there we go. That is 2 races for the PlayStation 4 for the Project Cars SMRC eSports Racing Spring Championship. We got there, sort of, eventually. A wild ride there between Aidan Sloss and Michael Weddle. And Aidan Sloss very lucky to survive to get the 5th place and hold on to 2nd place in the championship. Up next then, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be the Xbox One Finals. That will be taking place in just about 8 minutes time. We'll be going and getting the lobby up very shortly. In the meantime, we'll leave you with some music. We'll pop on the runners and riders for the final. You can see them just here just now. And then when we return, we will be back racing with the SMRC eSports Racing Championship. You know those times when you put on a random playlist and it turns out to be absolutely terrible? Sorry about that. We'll put on something a little bit more mellow, a little bit more chilled. Right, we're setting up the Xbox One lobby, and when we come back we will be live for race number 1 of 2 with them. So we are back, thankfully. Hooray! Right, we've got all the cars in, we have got all the drivers in, we are ready to go racing again here at the virtual Knock Hill. So let's get things underway then. Qualifying is back underway and we have got another 5-minute qualifying session to get going. We'll pop that up in just a second. And the car's making their way around then for qualifying one of the round one finals here for the Xbox. This is the SMRC eSports Racing Spring Championships. David Christie here with you for the rest of the evening. We have got Xbox One finals up just now, and then we have PC finals. Let's have a look at who we have in for heat number one. So for heat number one then, we've got James Black, aka Black Jam 2, John Duncan is I Am JD Bear 2, Ruben Haig is Hugo Haig, Tam Hamill, is Cam Big Tam, Robert McGregor is Robert097, sorry, my brain just completely melted away there. Chrissy Miller is Chrissy Miller, Ross Noble is Ross Noble, Callum Ross is Guz3460, Aidan Wilson is AJW Racing, and then Stuart Winus is Stu Winus61. Let's head back to the stream then, and we have got qualifying underway just now, and as said, we have got just under 3 minutes left to go in qualifying right now, and it's currently, no real surprises, Aidan Wilson who is at the top of the timing screens just now, as the cars making their way round just now. I'm going to apologise for the quality of the stream for the Xbox One. I've got no idea why it's a little bit jittery compared to the PlayStation One. We'll hopefully find that out in just a second. I'll see if they make any changes to make that a little bit better. But in the meantime then, Aidan Wilson is currently in the lead with a 55.084. And as said, from what we saw last time, those times can come down very, very quickly. In fact, we saw Aidan Wilson, I believe, dropping down into the 53s. So he certainly does have the potential to go a lot faster than this just now. .836 he does with 1 minute 50 left to go in the session. So qualifying still underway then, and we've done our very best at having a little diagnostics at what is going on right now. I've got no idea, I've got to be honest. We are having a little bit of problems with the internet just now, so we will have a quick look at it after this race is finished. The qualifying complete then, Aidan Wilson does a 54.166, and from the looks of it, it is just affecting us as watchers, as observers on this. In second place then is Black Jam 2, which is of course James Black. Third place is going to be Ross Noble. Fourth place is going to be Tam Hamill. Fifth place is Ruben Haig. Sixth place is going to be Robert McGregor. Seventh place is Chrissy Miller. Eighth place is Callum Ross. Ninth place is going to go to Stu Winus, and then at 10th place is John Duncan. That is a surprise for me because of course John Duncan winning that earlier round and not making much progress through that one. Right, let's go into the race then. We've got the 10 cars on the grid. Hopefully any internet issues will go very, very quickly. But here we go then. Race number 1 for the Xbox One finals of the SMRC eSports Racing Spring Championship is underway, and Aidan Wilson gets a fantastic start there from second and third place of that is James Black and Ross Noble chasing him down as well. The cars making their way through, and that was a big, big moment for... Now let's see who that was that went down. That was Ruben Haig, who got sent spinning down the bottom of Duffus Dip there. As we go back with your race leader, Aidan Wilson. And a drama behind, all sorts of mayhem kicking off here. 5 cars involved in that. Chrissy Miller's involved in it. That's also Callum Ross who's stuck in that. Stu Winus and Robert McGregor all coming a cropper at the exit of Clark's there. That now means that there is just 3 cars involved in the battle for the lead, because Ross Noble is very quickly dropping off the back of them right now. James Black doing his very best to try and keep hold on to your leader Aidan Wilson, who is going into lap number 2 then. And the cars making their way through the first part of the circuit, down through the compression at Butchers. It's then up over the chicane there. Very, very easy to get that wrong and run very wide at the left hand side, which will completely ruin any chances you have of keeping any momentum. And talking of momentum, Aidan Wilson is the man that has all the momentum right now. A second and a half. That gap is now starting to stretch out over James Black in second place. Let's have a look further down, because there are some cracking little battles starting to develop because all these cars are bunched right up. This is the battle for sixth place between Chrissy Miller and Stu Winus. Chrissy Miller takes a nice early line into the hairpin. You can see the tyres begging for mercy, and it's only lap 2. Thankfully tyre wear is not an issue on this race. And again, they're going down through the hill at Duffus. It looks like Stu Winus just backing off a little bit there from Chrissy Miller as he makes his way through McIntyre's as well. Back with your leader. That gap's still a second and a half from Aidan Wilson and James Black. And I don't think that Tam Hamill is going to be able to catch onto the back of that group. He's certainly shown a lot of pace, and we can see again here, 5 out of the 10 cars here already into the 54-second laps here. Aidan Wilson could very well go into the 53s. He doesn't. It's slightly slower than last time round, 54.154, and that gap kept very, very honest here from James Black in second place. Tam Hamill in third as well is with that group. He's 3 seconds behind the leader, a second and a half behind your second place man of James Black there. So they're all spaced out very, very evenly. In fact, James Black now starting to drop back to Tam Hamill a little bit, as we see Ross Noble in no man's land, really. He is about 2 seconds behind that battle in front of him, and he's not really showing the pace that he can catch up to that group in front as well. Again, apologies about the viewing experience. The car's jittering about as the internet connection is a little bit unstable. We will get that fixed for race 2, so just bear with us in the meantime. Your leader has gone across the line to start lap 5. Aidan Wilson is doing it again. He did this in his heat that he was in. AJW Racing was absolutely dominant. I believe the gap was 13 seconds that he had in his heat. because now he has dropped James Black, and James Black is coming into the reaches of Tam Hamill now, and this is shaping up to be a little battle going on for second place. And if that does become a battle for second place, that means that Aidan Wilson is going to stretch off into the distance. Ross Noble as well is being dropped by them. He's now 4 seconds behind that battle. However, Ruben Haig is shown a blistering form of pace now. He is catching up on to Ross Noble very, very quickly. He's 4 seconds behind 4th place. And again, it's not a case of who takes the first and second place. It's a case of who gets the highest amount of points over the 2 races. So get a good solid mid-pack finish on this one, and get a stronger finish on race number 2, and you're going to be laughing for that. Back with the 2 of these for second and third place then of James Black and Tam Hamill. And that gap is definitely starting to come down now, because it is just 1 second between Tam Hamill and between James Black. Just watching them as they come out of the hairpin again. Aidan Wilson though now stretching away 3.2 seconds ahead, but look at Tam Hamill now. The gap is just 0.6 of a second. We see a cone going flying up in the distance there. I think that was Ross Noble deciding to be a little bit brutal. We've got a cone on the track. That's not going to do anything other than provide a little bit of amusement for the cars. Every single car doing their best to try and hit it. Chrissy Miller just wipes it out of all existence. You monster, Chrissy. Right, 0.6 of a second between second and third place, and James Black is going to be feeling the pressure very, very heavily right now, because if he looks in his mirrors, he's going to see the white car of Tam Hamill in his rear view mirror very, very shortly. Tam very, very late on the brakes and just sends that car in for a fantastic exit out of the hairpin. Your race leader Aidan Wilson goes across the line to start lap number 7. I beg your pardon, lap number 8 he goes across to start there, as that gap now for second place down to 0.5 of a second, just half a second. And you think that Tam Hamill is going to be challenging for that second position very, very shortly. Down at the back of the pack here, you've got a 3-way scrap for 8th, 9th and 10th then. That is John Duncan, one of the race winners from, I believe it was heat number 5 in the Xbox Championship and the qualifying heats there. He is facing off against Callum Ross. They're side by side going down in towards Duffus just now, and there's contact. In fact, that was Robert McGregor and Callum there coming in all sorts of misery. We see them exiting stage left there as Callum Ross gets his way back onto the circuit. But it's going to be Robert McGregor who makes better out of that one, and somehow JD managed to escape that one. John Duncan is absolutely laughing at that one, because he may be 30 seconds behind the leader, but he's just gained 2 places out of all that nonsense that just transpired at Duffus Step there. So he's in fresh air right now. Meanwhile, with your second and third place, that's half a second, as we see Callum Ross doing the right thing there and moving to the side to let some faster cars go by. Your leader goes by with no problem whatsoever. However, he's straight onto the racing line in front of James Black. And that is very, very tight there. There was nothing really that Callum Ross could do. Callum Ross moves to the side to let both the cars pass. And Tam Hamill trying to take any advantage that he can from James Black. And oh my goodness me, Callum Ross just wipes in front of the face of Tam Hamill. Comes right in between that group battle there. I've got no idea why he just did that, but Tam Hamill will be absolutely raging right now, because he needs to get past, and there's a slow down penalty for James Black, and there's contact. Callum Ross has been unhelpfully nudged. Tam Hamill's going to try and get past here. Needs to move out of the way because he's blocking one of the car's a lap ahead of him right now. And this is very, very dangerous stuff from Callum Ross. He is absolutely fighting with Tam Hamill right now, and that's allowing James Black to stretch away. That gap is now back up to a second. Tam Hamill actually backs out of it with 2 laps left to go and decides to sit behind Callum Ross. What absolute scene's going on right now? Your race leader, however, has come out of the chicane and makes his way back over the crest of the hill there. Meanwhile, having a look back down to second and third place here, because your race leader is about to start his final lap as Tam Hamill makes a move up the inside on Callum Ross, to put him a lap down, but Callum is absolutely not having any of this whatsoever. This has allowed James Black to streak off 2 seconds in front of third place, and Tam Hamill has to settle back in again. He's not going to do it. He's going to try and take him on the entry to Duffus. Thinks better of it. He wants to finish in that third place, and yeah, questions are going to have to be answered from Callum Ross, because I don't understand why he's holding up a lapped car, and he is holding up a lapped car. Tam Hamill was lapping in the high 54s, I think it was, that last before he came across Callum Ross, and Callum Ross holding him down into the 55s there, and the fact that James Black is now 2 seconds up the road absolutely says to that. So yeah, some questionable standards there from Callum Ross. But meanwhile, your leader goes across the line. Ian Wilson wins for race number 1 of the Xbox One finals here at the SMRC eSports Racing Spring Championship. It's going to be a second place for James Black. Third place is going to be Tam Hamill, and then across the line comes Ross Noble. We wait for 5th place, and it's going to be Ruben Haig who goes across the line there. Chrissy Miller is going to finish in 7th. 8th place is going to go to Stu Wyness, and then John Duncan managing to avoid all that nonsense that went on with Callum Ross and Robert McGregor at the exit of Duffus Dip there. Comes across line in 8th place. Robert McGregor in 9th, and then Callum Ross in 10th place. What a race, and what a fantastic win. Yet again, a very dominant win for Aidan Wilson. 31 seconds from start to finish there. And a 6-second lead that Aidan Wilson had over James Black from Tam Hamill. There you go, that is your round 1 final out of the way. We'll take a very, very quick break, ladies and gentlemen. We will go and restart our internet connection, make sure it is not that, and come back, and hopefully we'll have a much better race 2 for you. There you have the points in front of you then. So just an update, guys and girls, we have got a very brief interruption. We've got a technical problem where one of the players has disconnected. We're going to restart the session and we will be back in just 2 minutes time for qualifying for race number 2.
Invincible.
Qualifying session is about to get underway for race number 2 of the Xbox One finals here, SMRC eSports Racing Spring Championship. Here's hoping we've got all the cars in. We're going to go anyway. And yeah, just an update on race number 1 then. We obviously had a big issue with some of the cars at the back there, and second and third place. That is going to be getting looked at by race control after the race is done. So we will be having a further look at that. But the cars making their way out onto track just now. So without further ado, let's get back to the action. Qualifying session number 2 is underway for race number 2 here at Knockhill. The car's looking much better this time round. So just to remind you then who we have got on track then. We have got in the Xbox finals, we have got James Black, John Duncan, Ruben Haig, Tam Hamill, Robert McGregor, Chrissy Miller, Ross Noble, Callum Ross, Aidan Wilson and Stuart Wyness. That is who we've got in the session just now. Still looks like they're jiggling about a bit, still wobbling about, so we have been noticing some internet issues across the platform tonight, so I do wonder if it is a Microsoft problem, but like I say, we will bear with it and we will make the best of it that we can. This is going to be the final race of the evening for the Xbox One competitors, race number 2. And just as a reminder again of the points, this is where they stand after that first race. Aidan Wilson with 25 points, James Black in second place with 20 points, Tam Hamill with 16 points, Ross Noble with 14, Ruben Haig with 12, Chrissy Miller with 10, Stuart Wyness with 9, John Duncan with 8 points, Robert McGregor with 7, and then Callum Ross with 6 points. Lots to play for then as round 1 comes to an end. And it was certainly a dramatic first race that we had for the Xbox One finalists. So we'll let you enjoy some of the qualifying action just now. Well, apologies to viewers on Facebook who were temporarily, rudely cut off. You should be back on the stream now. We've restarted it and got back going again, so apologies for that. Some very, very unusual connection issues tonight, but I suppose of all the nights to have it, it has to be final night as well, doesn't it? Right, back to the action with qualifying, because qualifying is over. Aidan Wilson qualifies in pole position, 54.429 at the moment, and then in second place is going to be Tam Hamill with a 54.749. Ross Noble in third place with a 54.889, and then it's a 55 1-1 for Chrissy Miller. 5th place is going to be James Black. Struggling on that qualifying session there, 55.162, but he is still on a hot lap and he's looking very, very fast right now. And has he jinxed it? He has. He went too wide on the exit of the hairpin there. Surely, unless our connection is absolutely terrible here, he goes across the line, and I don't think he is going to improve on that. We'll find out in just a second. But it's not. Now, hang on a second, because your eyes do not deceive you, ladies and gentlemen. Tam Hamill takes it out the bag right at the last and takes pole position. Tam Hamill, Ian Wilson and Ross Noble. That, ladies and gentlemen, is your 1, 2, 3 for the final Xbox One race of the night here at Knockhill. Up next is the PCs, but here we go. The lights starting to come on the Beatson Film Supply Bridge. There's a hold. And we're underway. A great start for Ian Wilson in row 2 there, right beside Tam Hamill, as we watch the cars making their way down. And again, apologies for the disturbances, the slight jittering in the cars. We will have to make our way through it. I did ask the guys, and they don't see this. They don't see any of this in the actual server. And there's mayhem going on behind again. It's the turn 1 calamity, and that looks like it's going to be Robert McGregor. That's going to be Callum Ross involved in that, as well as Ruben Haig. What's happened to John Duncan? Where's he come from? Because he was all the way at the back there, so he wasn't even involved in that, and he's still very, very far behind. Meanwhile, back with your leaders. Look at this. It's Ian Wilson and it's Tam Hamill side by side on lap number 1. Ross Noble carrying a cone just because he can. I've no idea how he's done that, but to have a look back up, Stu Winers. Oh, there's contact between James Black and Stu Winers. He rolls back on the track and he collects another car as well. That is, who is that he's caught there? I think that was Robert McGregor that's been caught up in that. So it's all kicking off on the second lap here, as Robert McGregor decides that he is really, really struggling right now. Back with your race leader then, and it's Aidan Wilson from Tam Hamill in second place there. Extraordinary conditions right now. Half a second between Tam Hamill and Aidan Wilson, who takes the lead again from Tam Hamill. Back with that battle, Callum Ross is being hunted now by Stu Winus and James Black on the back of that pack as well. Stu Winus is going to try and take the toe and possibly make a move up the inside of Duffus. As the cars make their way down, we'll go back with your race leader then, Aidan Wilson, starting to stretch out that gap, 54.2 that last lap round, as we see Tam Hamill being hunted down now by Ross Noble. Ross Noble with the pace, comes out of Clark's there, and this is looking very, very dangerous for Tam Hamill. He could find himself losing that place as well. Ross Noble very, very late on the brakes there, pulls the car in, and I don't know if he actually got a good exit from that from the hairpin there. I think Tam Hamill got a much, much better exit there, but have a look at that battle for 5th place right now. Callum Ross currently leading from James Black, and James Black's side by side again with Stu Winus. We saw Stu Winus going side by side with Robert McGregor, and that didn't really work out too well for them. They tucked back in beside each other, but back up for 2nd and 3rd place, and it's Tam Hamill alongside Ross Noble, and I think Ross Noble's going to have to drop back a little bit here. Yeah, there he goes, 0.8 of a second now. You can see the red markers against their name. Let's have a look at this battle for 5th place between that is Callum Ross, goes very, very wide at Clark. Surely that is going to be a slow down penalty for Callum Ross, and James Black is going to try and take advantage of that, move up into 5th place. Oh, there's contact again, Callum Ross. Oh, that is terrible, terrible driving there from Callum Ross. Frustration between the two of them, and ends up driving into James Black, and James Black drives off. Callum Ross is left to go again. And that is some very, very poor driving standards from Callum Ross there. A little bit of contact there. Unsettled the car, James Black, on his rear bumper there. And yeah, Callum Ross quite blatantly turning into James Black. And I think if the race directors were looking at Callum Ross before this race, they are most definitely going to be heavily scrutinising him now. Potentially some big consequences for that action there. Back up with your race leaders then. Aidan Wilson starts lap number 6 and he's making it look so comfortable right now. 3.7 seconds ahead of Tam Hamill, and again this is what he did in race 1, eked out a 5 to 6 second gap while everybody else behind him was fighting. Have a look at this though. Tam Hamill now still got Ross Noble 0.8 of a second behind him, fighting for that second place. And this is all allowing Aidan Wilson to stretch his legs now. The gap just over 4.2 seconds. And this is a brilliant battle going on now between Stu Wyness and John Duncan. John Duncan on the tail of Stu Wyness as they come up through Clark's. But you've got to feel sorry for James Black. That was absolutely no fault of his own, and being wiped out by Callum Ross even, as we see Robert McGregor coming across the scene as well. And I do wonder if there's going to be afters. Those two have got history right there. The gap now 0.3 of a second. This is hotting up very nicely as we've got 5 laps left to go in this final race for the Xbox One competitors tonight, as we see Tam Hamill having to defend from Ross Noble. The two of them gearbox glued together. Ross Noble is absolutely trying his hardest, outbreaks himself, but that's so he can get a better run out of the hairpin. But it's not going to be enough, is it? As Ruben Haig has to retire as well. And already complaints going into race control. Race control is going to be very busy, and I think that this is going to come ahead with these two here, Robert McGregor and Callum Ross. Right now this is going to be a little bit of a ding-dong battle going on between these two, and I'm kind of scared to take my eyes off of them, because that's about half a second lead, 2 seconds lead now as they go across the line between those two. But we're back with second and third place, and that is a lead change as Ross Noble goes into the lead. It looks like Tam Hamill gets a slowdown penalty, but late on the brakes, and Tam Hamill takes the inside line of the hairpin. Ross Noble going to try and go round the outside, has to switch back. They're side by side as they come up the main straight here, and going to go under the Beatson's Building Supply Bridge with 3 laps left to go in this final race for Xbox One. Ross Noble makes the move stick before they even get into the corner at Duffus, but it's going to be Tam Hamill with a better line out of the corner there, and Tam Hamill goes round the outside. It was Ross Noble with a very wide line. Of mistake on the entry to McIntyre's. The car slid sideways, and there goes Tam Hamill. A mistake at the exit of the chicane. He's collected by Ross Noble, and that drops him down from second to 4th place. Ross Noble then jumps up into second place, and Tam Hamill has it all to do with 3 laps left to go, because now he's in behind Chrissy Miller. Well, that is a turn of events, and all this has meant that Aidan Wilson streaks away even more into the sunset, nearly 10 seconds ahead of everyone else on the track at the moment. Your leader is into lap number 10, and this battle for 3rd place now. Can Tam Hamill get that final place on the podium from Chrissy Miller? I don't know if he can, because Ross Noble is pushing, but is he pushing that car a little bit too far right now? John Duncan has made the move stick on Stu Wyness. And looking back to the gap between That is Callum Ross and Robert McGregor as well. Robert McGregor absolutely throwing that car. He is desperate to try and get past Callum Ross for 8th place there. As we see Chrissy Miller under all sorts of pressure from Tam Hamill. We're on lap number 11 here of the final race for Xbox One, and this has been a stormer right now. And there goes Robert McGregor late on the brakes, tries to pull it on the inside. He does. There's almost contact in the two of them going side by side. This isn't over. Robert McGregor has to tuck in, and Callum Ross gets a drive-through penalty. Jumps into pit lane on lap number 11, and that is going to put Callum Ross square at the back of the field. Meanwhile, have a look at your battle for 3rd place, because Chrissy Miller has got a furious Tam Hamill right behind him. Tam Hamill caught up in that incident with Callum Ross on the last race there. Tam Hamill makes a move up the inside, tries to make it stick. He does. But Chrissy Miller looks to have gotten a better exit out of the hairpin. Indeed he does. And Tam Hamill has to concede as they start the final lap of the final race here for your finals on Xbox One. Thrilling stuff here. And we might have had a shortage of bandwidth, but we've not had a shortage of action by any means whatsoever. Chrissy Miller still having to fend off Tam Hamill here as they go up through the chicane for the final time. As your leader comes down in towards the hairpin. It's been a stunning performance tonight from Ian Wilson. Makes it 2 out of 2 as he goes towards the line, but our eyes are attracted to that battle for 3rd place as Ian Wilson weaves left to right. He's delighted, goes across the line. Ross Noble comes out the hairpin. He's going to take 2nd place, and Tam Hamill has absolutely done Chrissy Miller into the hairpin. He's mugged him in broad daylight and takes the final step on the podium. Tam Hamill from Ross Noble. So it's Aidan Wilson first, Tam Hamill in 2nd, Chrissy Miller in 3rd, Ross Noble in 4th. John Duncan, out of nowhere, finishes in 5th place. James Black, yeah, that was a difficult race for James Black. Finishes in 6th place there. Stu Wyness all the way down in 7th place. He was fighting John Duncan there. And then it is Robert McGregor who does manage to pass Callum Ross, who has to go into the pits there for a drive-through penalty. Ruben Haig having to retire after contact earlier on with Robert McGregor there. Incredible race there, and Aidan Wilson making it 2 out of 2 races on the bounce there. Tam Hamill in 2nd place and Chrissy Miller in 3rd. We're going to go and very quickly update the points, and when we come back we'll be moving on because it's PC final time. The points are updated then, and for Xbox One, it looks like this. Aiden Wilson making it a perfect start to the championship. 2 wins out of 2 puts him on 50 points at the top of the table. Tam Hamill in second place with 36 points. James Black has 30 points, and then it's Ross Noble with 28. Chrissy Miller with 26. John Duncan with 20. Stuart Wyness with 18. Robert McGregor with 15. Callum Ross with 13. And Ruben Haig with 12. As we said, lots and lots of incidents there, and I definitely think that Callum Ross is going to get himself hauled into the race director's office very, very soon. So we will keep you updated on that. As you saw on the schedule, guys, in just 5 minutes' time, we have got tonight's PC finals for round 1 of the SMRC eSports Racing Spring Championship. In the meantime, again, we'll go and get the lobby all set up, and we'll be back with you very, very shortly.
Took a swing at a wrecking ball and I prayed for my downfall, and I found a way to reconcile, 'cause in my heart it's not worthwhile. It's a bloody battlefield where some go down, others heal. In the end it's all the same. All you can do is play the game. Oh, do we say goodbye? Refuse to question why. I'm sad to say I'm sorry, so lie. Pretend that you're okay. Swear that you will stay. Keep trying for one day. I'm sick of all these lies. Don't care if I capsize. There's nothing left for me to hide. Don't wanna live a lie. Too many lows, too many highs. Too many things to criticize. And so I leave it all behind. Don't wanna live a lie. Life kept spitting at my feet and forced me down a dead-end street, when all I had went up in flames, burning only dark remains. I cover up every part of my skin, oh, 'cause I don't like the person within, oh. I know I'm the one to blame. All I can do is take the shame, oh. Do we say goodbye? Refuse to question why. I'm too sad to say I'm sorry, so lie and pretend that you're okay. Swear that you will stay. Keep trying for one day. Whoa, I'm sick of all these lies. Don't care if I capsize. There's nothing left for me to hide. Don't wanna live a lie. Too many lows, too many highs. Too many things to criticize. So I leave it all behind. Don't wanna live a lie. A lie. I don't wanna live a lie. Live a lie. I'm sick of all these lies. Don't care if I capsize. Oh no.
You will be delighted to hear that noise in the background. That means one thing and one thing alone. It means the cars are back on track for qualifying and we are ready to get back into the action then for the PC finals. Qualifying is underway and look at that. It looks so much better on there, doesn't it? Wonderful, wonderful stuff. No sort of internet connectivity issues whatsoever. Let's have a look then at who we have taken part in our PC finals tonight, because this is the creme de la creme of sim racing and some real big hitters out here tonight. On track then, we have Gary Craig, we have Craig Lax, Ross McGregor, John Munro, Steve Quinn, David Simon, Kieran Smart, Mike Spalding, Lorenzo Turi and Fraser Williamson. Big names. We saw a lot of very strong performances. This is going to be some of the best racing you will see tonight. Have I bigged it up enough? Good, because I hope it lives up to what I've just said. If the qualifying heats, if you caught them on Thursday with us, you know exactly why I'm getting very, very excited at this. I think we are going to be looking at a spread of around 5 to 8 tenths of a second between all of these drivers. We're going to be looking at low 53s to low 54s between these drivers. So some very, very good racing up in front. Lorenzo Turi jumps up into P1 then with a 54.611 already. And a very, very good time there. As we go up and we see that is, I'm going to move this monitor over to here. That is Craig Lax now with a 54.5. With 2 minutes left to go in the session, and already we're seeing some blisteringly fast lap times coming in to the fray just now. As we see Lorenzo Turi and John Munro up into third place as well. John Munro taking part in the charity race earlier on this afternoon that Colin Turkington was part of as well. So many sim races happening just now, and it's fantastic to see so many of them happening for a good cause. Got to give, of course, a big shout out to Jimmy Broadbent, a hero in the sim racing community, raising over £22,000 in 24 hours for the Trussell Trust, and a very, very worthy cause, especially at this moment in time. But then you don't exactly need a reason to support charities such as the Trussell Trust. Back to the qualifying then. A minute to go left in the session, 1 minute 15 to be precise. Lorenzo Turi 54.038, John Munro 54.418. Then you've got Craig Lax with a 54.5, and then it is let's have a look. That is David Simon with a 54.7. Now, the rest of them, I'm wondering what is happening here, because these times are spreading out a little bit more than I was expecting to. These guys have gone much faster. Whether or not they're leaving that to race pace, we'll soon see, but there's still plenty of time to get a good lap in here. At the moment, the spread from 8th place to 1st place is, in fact, 9th place to 1st place is 1.4 seconds. Craig Lax, though, look at that 53.8. Already we're starting to see the times pouring in, and this is gonna be something special. There we go then. All 10 cars have qualified at the moment within 1.5 seconds, 1.4 seconds from 1st to 10th place. That shows you how close this sim race is going to be. And it's the first of 2 that we're holding for the PC tonight. So the cars just making their way around just now. And coming across the line. In fact, that's qualifying complete, and you're not mishearing things. There is no sound, because I've just realised why there's no sound in the game. Unfortunately, I've went and set it to the wrong thing. We'll sort that just now for you. Hopefully this fixes it. There we go, that's better. Sorry about that, guys. I may have been playing on the sim rig last night and getting in a cheeky little practice for Oulton Park. and had it wired to my headset. So now that's back just in time for race 1 then. There you go. Craig Lax takes pole position for race number 1 of the PCs tonight with a 53.362. I need to take a second to just take that one in. 53.362. That is 0.6 of a second faster than second place there of Lorenzo Turi. John Munro in third place with a 54.1. David Simon 54.3. We've got Mike Spalding with a 54.5. Kieran Smart with a 54.5. Fraser Williamson 54.6. That is Steve Quinn 54.7. Sorry, 54.6. Ross McGregor 54.9. And then Gary Craig 55.2. 10 cars on the grid. This is going to be absolutely incredible, guys. Get your popcorn, get a seat. The lights are on the bridge for race number 1. And we're away! Craig Lax gets a great start, and so does Lorenzo Turi in second place there. Who was that stumbling on the grid? I think that was Fraser Williamson. Meanwhile, back with your leader, Craig Lax clears Duffus Stick with no problem whatsoever. John Munro struggling around the outside, forced wide into McIntyre's there. He goes down into fourth place as David Simon comes up into third, as Mike Spalding moves up into fourth place as well. John Munro absolutely mugged on that start there and goes down into fifth place. Back with your race leader then, and it's Lorenzo Turi chasing down Craig Lax. And this is a battle of the titans right now. Look at how much they've cleared over third place and beyond as Craig Lax swings that car round. He struggles to get it back off the line at McIntyre's there. We've got contact further on behind. Who is that there? That's Fraser Williamson and... was that Gary Craig? No, that's Fraser Williamson and Kieran Smart coming into battle there. Absolutely locked up. Well, that was unexpected. Goodness me. Right, back to your leaders then. As we see Lorenzo Turi furiously chasing down Craig Lax and John Munro on the back of Mike Spalding. This is everything that I was hoping to see already, and we're only on lap 2 here. Lorenzo Turi is catching onto the back of Craig Lax here. And John Munro makes the move, stick on Mike Spalding, who gets a slowdown penalty, as we see Steve Quinn moving up into fifth place as well. And I wonder if it's going to be a matter of time before he catches onto the back of David Simon, who is in the middle of no man's land there. Meanwhile, have a look at Lorenzo Turi. He is still desperately hunting onto the back of Craig Lax there. This is awesome sim racing, ladies and gentlemen. You are joining us on the SMRC eSports Spring Championship. On a big moment! And Craig Lax is gone! Craig Lax lost it on the exit of Clark's there. Just pushing way too hard there. And Lorenzo Turi takes the lead. Wow, amazing stuff then. Lorenzo Turi goes into the lead here, and what a sensational lead that is. He's now almost 2 seconds ahead of second place of David Simon, and that puts John Munro up into the final podium spot at the moment. And that is going to be one heck of a battle going on behind him, because that's Steve Quinn, Ross McGregor and Mike Spalding all involved in that one there. And David Simon now falling back into the clutches of John Munro, who did a 53.826. We know John Munro personally, and we know he's a very fast racer, and a very fast sim racer at that as well. He'll be live on Twitch just now, and hope he is having a fantastic time right now, as we see Ross McGregor up into fourth place ahead of Steve Quinn. Steve Quinn possibly going to make a little move. No, he doesn't. Thinks better of it. Have a look at John Munro. He is stalking second place there of David Simon, and that is allowing Lorenzo Turi to stretch off into the distance. 2 seconds ahead right now, and in fact John Munro could catch him. John Munro has the pace to catch up Lorenzo Turi right now if he can get past David Simon. Your race leader then coming into the hairpin to start lap number 6 here and hit the halfway point in the race. John Munro much slower that last time round there, 2.5 seconds behind your race leader. He's trying to hold on to the back of David Simon, but I think David Simon has decided to up the pace as well, because he was half a second that lap quicker than your race leader. The gap now down to just 2 seconds between Lorenzo Turi and David Simon, with John Munro still in the mix as well. Fascinating end to this race coming up, ladies and gentlemen. Do not go anywhere, and remember, this is only race 1 of 2 for the PCs here at the virtual recreation of Knockhill. Lorenzo Turi pulls the Formula Rookie into the hairpin, but look at that, David Simon just gets a really nice smooth exit there. That gap is now down to 1.7 seconds. 0.3 of a second come off on that last lap there. It's all on the exit of the chicane. That's where David Simon tends to make up his time. And again, remember, this is a battle for points now. The higher up you go, the more points that you will have on offer. The gap now down to 1.4 seconds between Lorenzo Turi and David Simon in second place with 5 laps left to go. But have a look at John Munro as well, 0.2 of a second behind David Simon. This is setting up to be a 3-car battle for the lead. .53.6 for John Munro, 53.9 for David Simon, and it was a 54.4 for your race leader Lorenzo Turi. The gap now down to just over 1 second. 1.3 seconds covers your top 3. This is incredible racing right now. Let's go on board with John Munro. You can see how quickly they're catching your race leader Lorenzo Turi. And there's almost contact between the two of them there. That was fantastic action there from John Munro on David Simon. And the two of them need to work together. They need to be smart here because the gap is now dropping back. John Munro has a little look up the inside of David Simon for that second place. And Lorenzo Turi now back up to 1.3 seconds ahead of this battling duo for second place. Any chance that these two had for going for the lead may be dwindling away as they fight each other. They're both very wide over the exit of the chicane there. And just 3 laps left to go in this first race for the PCs. A slow down penalty for David Simon means that John Munro moves into second place, and he is going to hunt down your race leader now very quickly. John Munro eyeing up that lead. 1.2 seconds now. He took 0.2 of a second on one corner. Thrilling climax to your first race of the PC finals here on the SMRC Racing eSports Racing Spring Championship. I can feel myself having to hold for breath here because I just don't know what is going to happen. John Munro gets a poor exit from the chicane there, makes it up at the exit of Clark's, and it is all going to come down to these final 2 laps between Lorenzo Turi. Can he hold on from the charging John Munro in second place We're about to find out, because Lorenzo Turi exits the hairpin to start lap number 11, and the gap is now just 9/10 of a second. The pair of them have dropped every other car on the grid right now. Let's go back on board with John Munro as he comes down through Duffus then. Over Leslie's, down into McIntyre's, down through the gears, nice early apex there, and look at that, the gap now 6/10 of a second. Up through the chicane, all this pressure for Lorenzo Turi, and surely that's going to be a slowdown penalty for John Munro because he was very, very wide on the exit of the chicane. Doesn't look to have happened though just now. We're coming up to now or never time for John Munro. He's so late on the brakes into the hairpin now. He throws it up the inside. Lorenzo Turi gets a good exit here, and it's going to be a ding-dong battle for the final lap here between your race leader Lorenzo Turi and John Munro. Let's cut back to the trackside camera because this is going to be an epic final lap. Half a second between your race leader Lorenzo Turi and John Munro in second place for race number 1. They're down in towards McIntyre's for the final time. Is John Munro set for one last lunge into the hairpin? It certainly looks so. John Munro now the closest he has ever been to the lead right now. They're out of Clark's for the final time. The gap is coming down now. He's in the toe. John Munro is going to make one final move here. 0.3 of a second. Jigs to the inside. What can he do? Lorenzo Turi very late on the brakes, and John Munro gets an excellent run out on the outside. Dips in to get some more of the toe, but I think Lorenzo Turi has just done enough. John Munro in second place. Wow, David Simon is going to come across the line in third place. And then it's going to be Ross McGregor in fourth. What an amazing final lap. Fifth place is going to be Steve Quinn. Mike Spalding in sixth place. Seventh place is going to be Craig Lax, who could have had it all. He was in the lead for around about 3 laps out of the 12 there, and looking very, very comfortable, and he binned it at the exit of Clark's, and he finishes actually down in 8th place, a time penalty for him. Gary Craig is in 7th place, and then 8th place, as we said, is Craig Lax. Fraser Williamson finishes in 9th place, and then in 10th place is Kieran Smart. My goodness me, ladies and gentlemen, that is exactly what we were hoping to see here in the SMRC eSports Racing Spring Championship. What a race one for the PCs. We're going to go and add up all the results and put all of the names into their respective orders, and we'll be back in about 5 minutes time for race number 2. In the meantime, we'll pop on a little bit more music, and we will be right back with you very, very shortly. You may have seen me getting slightly distracted. Congratulating the drivers there on a fantastic race there. Let's have a look at what that does to the standings then. Lorenzo Turi currently leading with that 25 points there. John Monroe in second place with 20 points. David Simon in third place with 16. Ross McGregor with 14. And then it's Steve Quint with 12. Mike Spalding with 10. Gary Craig with 9. Craig Lax with 8. Fraser Williamson with 7. And then Kieran Smart at the bottom of the table with 6 points. Whew, that was amazing. I absolutely loved that. Hope you guys enjoyed that out there as well. We will have race 2 for you in just 4 minutes time. You're watching the PC finals of round 1 of the SMRC eSports Racing Spring Championship live here on Facebook and on YouTube. We will be here for another race, and then we are back next week from Tuesday for the Renault Clios at Oulton Park. If you want to join in for round 2, you can do. Head over to smrc.co.uk, but not if you've got an Xbox One, because we're full up already. I think we're very close to full on PS4, and we have got a couple of spots left on PC. We have got extended capacity at Oulton and pretty much every other track that isn't Knock Hill, which means that we are looking for 75 drivers for next week and future weeks. 75 drivers, so that means we will have a capacity grid of 225 drivers potentially taken in next week's racing. Get over to smrc.co.uk and get yourself involved. Right, well, it looks as if we are good to go then. So we are about to start the final qualifying session of the evening for our SMRC eSports final of round one. It is going to be a 5-minute qualifying session just like the other ones, and then we will get into our final race of the evening. What a race that is shaping up to be, because that was just fantastic fun. We saw so many drivers throughout the field, all very, very close to each other and all treating each other with the height of respect. You can hear the cars roaring into life as they leave pit lane for the final time this evening. And here we go then, qualifying session number 2 for race number 2 is underway. We've got 5 minutes left to go. Two and a half minutes left to go in the qualifying session, and we are getting back onto the pace almost immediately. 54.372 for Craig Lax, who had that big moment. We found out that it was a technical issue that he had that led to him going off at the top of Clark's. What actually happened is that his steering wheel, all of the force, all of the power to the steering wheel had just instantly died and sent him spinning round at the top of Clark's. That is what we in the profession call an excuse. But it does happen, and when it does, you lose all control of the car very, very quickly, and that's what sent him spinning at the top of Clark's there. So Craig Lax 53.907, looking to make amends for that last lap there, that last race there. John Munro currently in second place, 54.320. Again, we know these cars are potentially capable of much, much faster times. We see Ross McGregor having a big old moment at the top of Clark's there, and then Lorenzo Turi 54.615. Again, we know he is capable of much more than that. John Munro is going to exit from the hairpin, potentially got another 2 laps left to go here on the qualifying. Let's ride on board with John and we'll talk you through a lap here at Knockhill. As you go over the start finish straight, the first thing you want to look for is this left hand side here. You brake on the marker, fire the car in and brake as little as you possibly can. Try and hold on to it for dear life and keep your toe on the accelerator. Again, brings it in very nicely into McIntyre's, down through the compression it butchers and up the steep hill, over the unsighted crest of the hill there, and not too wide on the left hand side, keeping your foot on the accelerator at all times. Lift off, damp the car in over the curve there, and that's going to ruin his lap for John Munro. But you go over the hill at Clark's there, and then it comes down in towards the chicane. In towards the hairpin. And he's going to get another go at this. Meanwhile, David Simon is your new pole sitter at the moment, 53.890, and all of the cars again even closer this time, with Steve Quinn at the back of the pack with a 1.3 second disadvantage. But we'll see what they can do as they come across the line. Qualifying is complete, so it's going to be these last laps that count, as we have 4 cars going over in very, very quick succession. But Steve Quinn in the pits, he's not going to make any improvement on his time. My goodness, you've got 9 cars within 0.7 of a second. That is... wow. Now, hang on a second. There's a name that we didn't really see through race number 1, as Kieran Sloss manages to sneak into pole position provisionally, because we've still got cars on track at the moment. John Munro is going to come across the line. What can John Munro do? He cuts a little bit of the grass, goes across, and he doesn't improve. 54.059. So, it looks like Mr. Kieran Smart has only gone and chucked it on pole, 53.840, 0.05 of a second ahead of David Simon, and then it is Craig Lax in 3rd place with, we'll read out the rest of them in just a second, Craig Lax in 3rd place, John Munro in 4th, Gary Craig in 5th, Lorenzo Turi down in 6th, Mike Spalding in 7th place, Ross McGregor in 8th, Fraser Williamson in 9th place, and then Steve Quinn in 10th place. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to go racing. Your final race of the evening for the SMRC finals. Round 1 is underway, and Kieran Smart gets a great start, goes immediately to block off David Simon on that outside line going in towards Duffus, but it doesn't matter because David Simon has got the lead already. A storming start from David Simon, and Craig Lax with a little bit of contact on the rear end of Kieran Smart there. John Munro on the back of Craig Lax as well, and Lorenzo Turi has been left wanting down in 5th place there, as Craig Lax makes a look on Kieran Smart as they come out of Clark's for the first time. Kieran Smart is trying to stay in the toe of David Simon, and look at that, Craig Lax is weaving side to side. He's going to try an outbreak into the corner there. Beautiful move there from Craig Lax to move up into 2nd place, and there's contact behind. That's a huge incident, and it's another incident for Fraser Williamson and Ross McGregor. The two of them come together, and look at that, John Munro moves up into 3rd place, and Kieran Smart from pole position dumped into 4th place, and you've got who's that, Mike Spalding behind as well. And Lorenzo Turi has come a cropper because he is down in 8th place now as well. So here we go then. This is your 5-car battle for the lead right now, as you've got David Simon desperately trying to fend off Craig Lax for the lead. We saw Craig Lax has the pace to lead this pack round, but John Munro in there as well. Craig Lax jinks one side, jinks the other, late on the brakes, pulls it early into the hairpin, is slow out the corner, and there's contact there, and John Munro has been taken out by David Simon. The two of them, you saw David Simon having a moment at the hairpin there, and the two of them collided. I'm going to rephrase that because in no way do I think there was any fault on either of the drivers there. I think that was just purely a racing incident, as we see David Simon coming back in to overtake John Munro, and John Munro says, no, I don't think so, thank you very much. So the two of them are going to have to make their way back through. Now there is 10 seconds of a gap. I don't think this is over. I think we'll see John Munro and potentially David Simon on the podium, as we see Lorenzo Turi fighting with John Munro as well there. Back to your race leaders then. Gripping stuff there as all sorts of drama unfolds out on the track there. So we have Craig Lax takes the lead then from Kieran Smart, and Kieran Smart is going to be under a little bit of pressure, we'll say. A little bit of pressure from Mike Spalding to try and take away that second place. Having a look back down for that battle for 6th place, and that is going to rage on all through because we're only on lap 4 here. And John Munro goes a little bit wider. He's got Lorenzo Turi all over his back end right now. And that gap to the leader now is starting to come down quite nicely as well. Craig Lack's now just 0.8 of a second ahead of Kieran Smart. So Kieran Smart now starting to get that pace on the go. He wasn't able to get it early on with that first couple of laps. But it looks now as well, John Munro right on the back of David Simon again. Interesting to see what happened between those two, because that gap now coming down to 8 seconds. So that's about a second a lap that they are taking off of your race leader right now. But your race leader going through the chicane for lap number 5, and Craig Lack still in the lead from Kieran Smart, from Mike Spalding. That is your 1, 2, 3 in this final race of the SMRC eSports Racing Spring Championship. Round number 1 for the PCs here at Knockhill with the Formula Rookie car. Let's have a look at this battle then. John Munro makes a dive up the inside against David Simon. Surely he's going to make that stick. David Simon looks to get the better exit out of the hairpin there. And again, they're going to be side by side as they drag race up the hill here. Thrilling stuff. And I think John Munro may very well just have been done. He did the entrance, two wheels into the gravel on the hairpin there. Made it happen. As we look behind, this is brilliant racing between John Munro and Lorenzo Turi as well. And John Munro sticks on to that place there. Kieran Smart now dropping a little bit behind your race leader Craig Lax now, who is 1.5 seconds ahead of second place there. Mike Spalding I don't think is going to catch up because he looks to have had a slow down penalty applied to him. As we have a look again at that battle for 6th place, that is the closest action that we have on track right now as we go to start lap number 7. Leader goes across right now, and John Munro again is hunting down David Simon right now. Let's ride on board then with John Munro as he goes down through Duffy's Dip. You can see how much better of a drive he gets out through that corner there, down and towards McIntyre's. Again, a nice early entrance on the apex there. And again, right behind them is Lorenzo Turi, just waiting for his moment right now. But here comes John Munro. Is he going to make a move? It's going to be a lunge on the back straight. You just know it. This is textbook stuff right now. Great exit from Clark's for John Munro. He may already be able to make that move stick. They're side by side as they go down in towards the hairpin. No such mistakes this time round for John Munro, who goes into 6th place then. But David Simon trying to make a move on the outside of Duffy's Step. Surely not. Surely this can't happen. John Munro dabs the brakes. He does! David Simon overcooks it though, and is going to have to hand that place back because that's going to be a slow down penalty for David Simon. Would you believe it right now? Up in front though, 3rd and 4th place in a battle, that is Mike Spalding and Steve Quinn duking it out for the final podium spot right now. And if they're not careful, that is going to bring back into the mix Gary Craig, who is currently down in 5th place as well. A blistering pace being shown by all of the cars here right now. They're all lapping within about 0.8 of a second of each other, and the gap on lap 9 is 13 seconds from 1st to 9th place. Let's have a look at this battle behind, because now that is Gary Craig that is getting very quickly swamped by these three cars. These three cars are absolutely charging as we see Lorenzo Turi taking a little bit of a detour across the beach at the exit of the chicane there. And Gary Craig is going to get past very, very quickly from John Munro and David Simon. I think David Simon actually getting a bit of a slow down penalty. Wow, this is setting itself up. In fact, I've got to be honest, I wouldn't rule out John Munro getting a podium spot here because we're on lap 10 and there's 8 seconds between the first place and 6th place, but there is only 3 seconds between John Munro and that final podium spot that is currently being held by Mike Spalding. Anyway, back to your race leader. It's been a fantastic performance for Craig Lax. He's going to feel that this is justice for that last race because he was leading with a very strong pace, only to have it taken away by a technical issue. Look at that, John Munro weaves to the one side, weaves to the other. Gary Craig is going to have to defend on the inside line as we see Steve Quinn up there as well. And John Munro makes the move stick. John Munro up into 5th place. 53.462. John Munro lapping a second faster than your current race leader who is on his penultimate lap. Craig Lax now taking it very, very comfortably round through McIntyre's, down through Butchers and then up through the chicane. Comes over the hill at Clark Corner there. Kieran Smart has no answer whatsoever right now, but you've got to say, Kieran Smart getting pole position was absolutely mugged off the line. He was put from 1st place all the way down to 4th place in a matter of moments. But he's managed to hold on and managed to get 2nd place as we start the final lap of the race. Craig Lax comes across the line. And we are on lap 12 out of 12 for the SMRC eSports Racing Spring Championship. This is round number 1, and this is the finals here at Knockhill. Let's have a look at Kieran Smart, and we go further down. Mike Spalding is still holding off Steve Quinn for that 3rd place, but look at John Munro. He's bringing David Simon along with him as well. They've both dropped Lorenzo Turi, who had a brilliant first race. He's just not been in this 2nd race at all. We see Steve Quinn coming round here just now. I wonder if it's going to be too late for anything else to happen, because here comes your race leader, Craig Lax, out of the hairpin for the final time. Foot jammed to the accelerator. And across the line, a fantastic win for Craig Lax in race number 2. 2nd place is going to go the way of Kieran Smart. 3rd place is going to go the way of Steve Quinn after a... now hang on. Steve Quinn comes in 3rd. John Munro gets 4th. Mike Spalding drops from 3rd place to 5th because of a time penalty on that. So there you go. That's the results of your final race here at Knockhill, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed Craig Lax from Kieran Smart, Steve Quinn in 3rd place, John Munro in 4th, it's Mike Spalding in 5th place after a 1 second time penalty, drops him 2 places. David Simon gets another 1 second penalty as well, Ross McGregor in 7th place, Lorenzo Turi in 8th place, and then it is Gary Craig down in 9th place. We should have had 10 drivers there, but we had Fraser Williamson DNFing after a collision on lap number 2. That is it then. We're going to go and add up the points. We will be just a second while we go and do that. We'll pop a little bit more music on for just now, and then we will be back in just a couple of seconds time.